Hey everybody, welcome back to another Bad Batch reaction here on the Canon Collector channel. Today we are going to be watching episode 10 of the Bad Batch. Let's go check out that title and description. Episode 10, Common Ground. The Batch has their ideology challenged. Alright, we see a picture of Sid and we see Omega with some form of hologram. So it definitely looks like we're going back and seeing Sid today. Now, like I've talked about before, I don't really think that this is going to be very much like the first half of this series. I don't think that we can just hang out with Sid right now. I think that obviously it looks like it's happening, but I don't think that it's going to be the same sort of week by week mission monster of the week kind of thing that they were doing before. We are very much on the run right now from the Empire, from Crosshair, from bounty hunters. There's a lot going on, and I just don't think that casually hanging out with Sid is probably a good idea for the Batch at this point. Now, I could be totally wrong, and we could be set up for one of these sort of Sid episodes right now, but I would highly suspect that we're not going to get too many more of them moving forward. We got too much heat on us right now. We're clones, we got the Empire after us, we have one of our own Crosshair after us, and we have a multitude of bounty hunters. I definitely don't think that Cad Bane is the only bounty hunter out there looking for Omega, nor is Fennec. Fennec's working not necessarily for the Kaminoans as a whole, at least Lamassu, right? Fennec we're kind of putting out on the side there. She definitely has Omega's best interests in mind, I think. I mean, obviously, probably her own self-interest in mind at the end of the day. At least who she's working for is definitely wants to see Omega live a long and happy life. So I have a feeling, and I would really love to see, as we talked about last week, maybe some original trilogy sort of bounty hunters can come into play here, and maybe we meet them. I don't know exactly how that's going to work out story-wise now that we kind of have confirmed that we're going back to Sid, but I feel maybe we're going back to Sid for information more than anything. Maybe she'll make the Batch do something to kind of earn that info, but I don't think that this is going to be a regular thing. I definitely don't feel that this will be a regular move from here on out to episode 16. We have, not including this episode, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We have 6 more episodes after this one. So it definitely is a lot of ground to cover. I'm not totally ruling out the option of doing a lot of Sid mission of the week sort of things, but it just doesn't feel right, at least to me, and so it'll be interesting to see how they make that work, if that is their plan, to do a couple more of those episodes before we reach the finale, or at least the last few episodes in this season. But I'm going to trust him. I'm very much going to trust him that if we are going back to do the sort of mission of the week thing, that it's going to make sense. It's not going to feel unnatural. You know, at the same time that the show hasn't let me down yet, and I have to trust him, I still feel like maybe we're in for something that I'm not so thrilled with. So anything could happen at this point. Like we were talking about in the last reaction video, there are 100 different avenues we could go down. For this episode, though, I would definitely like to touch on the Empire again if we can. The more that we can get the Empire, I am a happy boy, but I almost suspect that maybe we're holding off again until the season finale, which I'm not totally mad about because of the way that they've structured everything here, with the opening sort of heavily Empire-based, the sort of mid-season episode heavily Empire-based, and then maybe towards the end we get a couple that are more Empire-based, or at least what's going on with Crosshair, what's going on with his crew. These breaks, if this is a break and we don't see the Empire and Crosshair for a while, are kind of nice. Crosshair's forces are in the background sort of building and growing, like we saw from when we last left him off to, you know, episode 8, the mid-season point of this series. That was a stark contrast. But I would definitely like to see sort of Crosshair's, you know, sort of special troops, those Death Trooper-like non-clone sort of empire, the first stormtroopers, so to speak. I would like to see them kind of be more like the Bad Batch. Very specialized, very trained, very, very scary. I mean, they were a little bit in Episode 8, but you just didn't get that sort of feel like you do with the Bad Batch. And it would be cool to have sort of a 180-degree sort of bizarro version of the Bad Batch on Crosshair's side. I think that would be really cool. But not holding out any hopes for this episode, to be completely honest with you. More bounty hunter stuff would be great here. I am absolutely all for that. Like I said, some original trilogy bounty hunters would be cool. But more Cad Bane, man. More Fennec Shand. I'm absolutely about that. I would love to hear more of the drama and things going on in Kamino and what's happening there and their whole search for Omega. And hey, if we get some cool sort of Omega stuff in this, I'm not going to be mad at all. You know, the rumors of her being Force sensitive have been wildly spread, so any little hint we can get at that, very cool. And then lastly, let's get some more Boba stuff. We get another Boba mention, another Boba hint, or at least something Boba adjacent, right? Like that Bib Fortuna cameo. That's something that just like isn't directly related to Boba, but sort of puts you in that mood, in that mindset. I'm very open to that. Or just more Django drops, I guess. That's also very interesting. And obviously we're dealing with a show centered around the clones, so these things aren't totally out of place for this show. So if we get some more information on Django or something like that, that's not too weird. And that wouldn't make me necessarily connect the dots directly to Boba and that Boba is showing up, or that we're gonna get some crazy Boba Fett stuff in the show, but it doesn't hurt. Anyway, let's stop chit-chattering and let's dive into this bad boy, because I don't have too many more theories and too much more to say about this. I really want to dive into these next couple episodes, and I think these next few episodes are definitely going to give us a clearer view as to what we're going to see in the season finale, or potentially where the show is going beyond season 1, if it is going beyond season 1. So anyway, let's just dive right into this bad boy. Let's jump right into today's episode, episode 10, Common Ground. Disney Plus. Intro gets better every single time I see it. The Bad Batch. Common Ground. All right, look at this place. Wow. This is freaking gorgeous. Holy my God.
All we asked in exchange was for your loyalty. Yet that has not been forthcoming.
You got something up your sleeve here, pal.
Go through with this.
Senator, it is your only option.
A mandatory curfew will be put into effect.
God, this looks gorgeous. He looks very familiar. Did we meet him in the Clone Wars or somewhere else?
If anything happens to me, follow my instructions to the letter.
What will happen, Senator?
Oh, man.
Senator?
He's doing something crazy. I love his monocle. It's so cool.
No.
Oh.
It is my duty to act in your best interest, and it is why I can no longer condone this unjust occupation.
You are a dead man. But that's a brave thing to do, eh? Oh, yeah.
But we shall not cower at them.
We have every right to be here. You're the ones trespassing.
An uprising. Ooh, boy. Oh, wow. This is not good for you guys. Go, little droid, go. You got this.
I'm sending this message on behalf of my master, Senator Avi Singh of Raxus. We require your assistance.
The Batch? Rex? The Rebellion? Honestly, would not even be mad if they just did that every episode and it had nothing to do with the rest of the episode of the Bad Batch. Like, that was awesome. They're freaking adorable.
When's our next mission?
With 2 bounty hunters after you, it'd be wise to keep a low profile.
Boom, there you go. That's pretty much all I needed, really.
Too much heat on us.
Do another job. for Sid. That's totally fine.
I've got a mission for you boys. A simple extraction on Raxus.
Oh.
That is
Oh,
the
they
former
called
center
Sid.
of the separatist government.
Help a separatist? Not gonna happen.
Separatist, Republic, doesn't matter anymore, man.
I am not bringing Omega to a planet swarming with Imperials.
So leave her here with me.
Don't be a fool, Omega. Don't be a fool this week. Be good. We need a little less stress dealing with you right now.
I can't believe we're helping.
Gonky, what's up, boy? I missed you. I don't think we saw you for a little bit. Ooh, yeah, they're tailing him.
Hunter, the client is a separatist. How do we know this isn't a trap?
Don't matter anymore, guys. It does not matter anymore. Separatist worlds definitely are not for this whole Empire thing. So, like, they're probably the only people right now that you can trust, to be perfectly honest with you.
My master, Senator Singh, was arrested for speaking out against the unjust
We
occupation.
don't care. Just take us to where the Senator's being held.
Right to it.
I mean, you kind of should care, guys. Like,
Follow me.
he's on your side.
I told Dark and Broody I'd keep an eye on you and keep you safe.
For how much?
Not enough.
Delay all you want. You're not getting out of this one.
I wouldn't do that.
Hear that? We got an expert here.
She was right.
Done for.
How'd you know to do that?
I'm good at strategy.
How good?
Sid's gonna put her to work.
What's my cat?
There you go, Omega. You're learning.
30%.
60.
Good girl. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. The batch made it in time.
An alert has been triggered.
Oh no, boys. There's a lot of forces on this planet. This is gonna be tough.
Follow us. Get this thing moving, Tech.
Just tossing them right out of there.
They've commandeered one of the walkers. Pin them down.
Kaboom! Yeah, that's not good for them. That is not good in the slightest.
Stabilizer is offline.
Ooh, you are spewing fuel, oil. My gosh.
If you don't mind, please blast a hole in the wall right here.
That I could do.
Hurry! This way!
All right. Get gone, boys. That was an easier exit than I thought they were going to be able to have. Oh.
What's all this?
Omega's hustling in there, huh?
No one can stop this kid.
Yeah, Omega.
I told you to keep a low profile. This is the opposite.
Ease up, Bandana. Omega made enough money to pay off the debt you boys owe me. So
Ooh,
try showing a little
there we go.
Gratitude to my friend. You did good.
You really paid off our debt?
I wanted to be useful, even if I couldn't go on the mission.
How about we put those strategy skills to the test? One match. If you win, Then no more sitting out on missions. You ready for
Let's see.
this?
Are you?
Ah, is that it? Cliffhanger. Did she win? She won. Who we kidding? She won. So, all right. Pretty good episode. Definitely not mad by this, but nothing huge canon-wise, I feel like. Or even totally story-wise for the Bad Batch series itself. Definitely a few things in there. Raxus definitely being a planet that we've heard about in other forms of canon, and seen in, like, the Clone Wars. Actually, I believe I have to go back and rewatch that because I'm a little foggy on that whole arc, but Raxus is definitely a planet that is deep within my memory banks. It's definitely deep down in there, planet I've heard before, so that sparked a little interest, but I don't think anything too major canon-wise. There was nothing all that crazy. I'll have to go back, like I said, and rewatch that episode to see if there's some stuff that I missed, but honestly, not a whole lot there. Nothing else that I could totally tell canon-wise. It's cool to see the Empire sort of invade other worlds and what's going on there. Like I said during the actual reaction portion of this, I would honestly watch a few minutes at the beginning of each episode that's just the Empire on another planet and what they're doing. And then it didn't even have to tie into the rest of what's going on in the Bad Batch. That's totally fine because that was awesome. That whole sequence, that first sequence looked amazing. This whole planet looked amazing. This episode was incredible. I don't know how much time or money they spent on all of that, but I kind of hope that we go back there because it seemed like there was a lot of effort being put into that set. Maybe we head back there at some point. I mean, it's probably pretty likely, huh? Because we have Head Honcho back here with us. It makes sense if maybe we're going to go help him and figure some stuff out there, but also given the story and what's going on with the Bad Batch, I don't totally see how that is necessarily applicable to the rest of what we got going on in this series, or at least in this season. But who knows? You know, I didn't necessarily think that we could do another mission of the week and have it fit okay, but I think that today really did fit all right. Definitely a break from some of the big monumental stuff that we've had the past 2, even 3 episodes to a certain degree. Somewhat needed, somewhat not, but they addressed, I think the biggest thing that I like from this episode is that they addressed all of the things that I had concerned. There's a lot of heat on them. And so they can't just be out and about just willy-nilly doing these kinds of missions. It just doesn't make sense. And because that they addressed that within the show, it kind of gave them the ability to go off and actually do that and kind of go against what I maybe would have thought or would have done if I was in charge of the show. It felt natural. It didn't feel too weird. Again, though, I don't think we can do too many more of these. I think this is a one and done sort of deal. And now, and that is the biggest part, that leaving Omega behind, having that does give some character development, some relationship development between Omega and the rest of the batch, particularly Hunter, sort of learning to, I guess, trust Omega more. At least not trust in the same sense as like Sid and you know, every other individual. Just the fact that she can take care of herself and that she's very intelligent and smart. But the biggest thing that happened there was that she cleared the debt. Now we're not held to sticking around with Sid. Now it feels like we can move forward. So I guess it all does make sense, right? We had those other episodes, got us to this point. Now we're sort of free. So hopefully now we can move forward with these next 6 or so episodes, and we can move forward without having to deal with the debt of Sid. But I feel like Sid is now always there for them as a resource to go back and if they need information or if they do need money. And I mean, definitely, if this show is going into season 2, 3, 4, whatever, I absolutely think that Sid can play a key role again in the rest of those seasons. I just think it's probably time to be done more or less with her, at least in the sort of boss role that she's been in. Now I think that she's more or less relegated to information. It would be kind of interesting. Here's how I would play it in the next episode. Opening back at Sid's place, there's an OT bounty hunter that we see. So cool reveal, fun. Maybe get them for the rest of the episode, snooping around Sid's area. And that causes Sid to get concerned because I think Sid bonded with Omega in this episode enough to the point where I think she's going to take her safety a little more seriously. So that's kind of how I would play it next week. Have a bounty hunter come along, hopefully one that we've met, that we know, or maybe you can keep it a secret and do a reveal towards the middle or towards the end, however you want to play it. Don't matter to me. But I think somebody should come after Omega while they're on that planet, maybe not necessarily find them or even really totally infiltrate Sid's area. Like, I don't want that to be connected to the point where they can't go back there, or that Sid maybe has to go somewhere else. But that would also bring an interesting element if Sid had to go on the run with them, or if she gets some new digs or has somewhere else to go. I like this little club she's got going on, so I'd like to keep that for as long as we can. But it would be good to see a bounty hunter come in, start snooping around. Sid now has this bond with Omega, so she's going to actually get concerned and kind of send them on their way. So now, at least for the rest of the season, if something like that were to happen, that kind of pushed Sid in that direction, then I feel like we can get her to give us information without sort of having to do this, you know, a mission every single time, do this whole mission of the week thing, because that seems to be her biggest bargaining chip for all of her knowledge, information, and contacts. So it would be good for something to happen that kind of pushes her in the direction of, okay, they need to go, they can't be here right now, but I will help them if need be. I kind of think that's how you play it. You know, next episode, maybe that's what that is. And it's sort of mission of the weeky, but not really. If you're just kind of trying to evade a one-off sort of bounty hunter. Then if you just throw in a little bit of the community, like the Kaminoan stuff in there, I'm perfectly happy, and I feel like that moves the overall story along while giving us a smaller episode. It makes sense for where we have to go for the rest of the season. It develops characters like Sid a little bit more. You know, I think that that's the play. From there, though, what do? You know, you got 5 more episodes to go. Let's even say that they take 3 episodes at the end of this show to really do a good finale. I mean, the season premiere, the series premiere, was essentially 3 episodes, and I don't think that we're going to get another 70-minute like finale episode. It may make sense, though, in a way, if they push some of those longer, because then it would reach sort of a 22 episode sort of series length, a 21 episode series length, which a lot of these shows, at least animated and just general sort of practices on TV, that's how that works, or it used to at least. It's not the same anymore. Definitely smaller series are a thing. 16 episodes seems probably perfect for the show. But let's just say you took 3 episodes at the end. We still have another 2 left to try to figure out. So maybe you have another 2 mission of the week sort of a thing, and then we're into like the last 3 episodes, which can be pretty hefty. That might work. I don't necessarily know if I can do another 3 episodes of not a whole lot of movement forward, but at the same time, I kind of have to walk that back a little bit. If you have sort of the Kaminoan involvement, say, in next week's episode, or with some of these other bounty hunters, and we get more information on that side, then it does feel like we're moving forward, and I'm kind of okay with it. So taking a step back and thinking about it now, it does seem like maybe these next 4 or so episodes are going to just be, you know, 3 or 4 episodes, because this one counts as kind of a mission of the week thing. So maybe the next 3 episodes are going to be sort of not one-offs, but not necessarily the meat and potatoes of the show. I'm just taking a peek now and taking a look at this. 4, 5, 6, and 7 were all sort of these Sid-related mission of the week sort of deals. Episode 7 was a little less mission of the week, monster of the week sort of a thing. Just because it dealt with the inhibitor chips that are in the clones, and we dealt with Wrecker and all of that stuff going on. So, but at the same time, it really didn't connect too much to everything else outside of just being on Braca and kind of alerting to the Empire that they're there, which sets up episode 8. So maybe they are going into a format here, and we're kind of going into reverse. Episode 7 and episode 9 almost feel closer than maybe I originally had thought, where you have episode 8 kind of in the middle, and then you have these like episodes that flank episode 8 to, you know, where they are sort of answering questions, moving the overall plot of the show forward, but it does still feel a little mission of the weeky. Like last week's episode definitely moved things along, moved things forward, but at the same time, it's not like anything major happened. I mean, granted, we got Omega back, right? But it's like we took a step forward just to take a step back, because we're kind of in the same place. We just now know there are bounty hunters after Omega, and that's like a legit official thing. And then we as the audience know a lot more information than the batch does. So episode 7 and episode 9 feel fairly similar, with episode 8 kind of right in the middle as a sort of a pillar. So if we work our way back, we have episode 6 Decommissioned, episode 5 Rampage, episode 4 Cornered. So yeah, maybe we're gonna get another 3 episodes that are sort of just mission of the weeky things again, like I was saying. Maybe we're running from bounty hunters. That, I think, would feel pretty good if we were doing that for 3 different episodes. So I'm definitely excited to see what they're going to be doing with all of this, and I'm just trying to use clues to figure out what we're doing, where we're going. As far as story goes, not just the logistics and fundamentals of like how they could structure the rest of this season, you know, it definitely seems like I'm hoping Omega won that game, and then she's going to be with the batch for the rest of the season, at least. And I definitely don't think we're going to, you know, there's just no way they were going to leave her behind too much, unless it was an alternate journey for Omega and there was like a bigger overall purpose. But I think she's definitely going to be with the batch at this point. They're not going to be hanging around Sid too much longer, I don't think. I think they're moving away. They're getting out of there. Maybe they do one more job, but it kind of has to go awry. I don't think that it can be hunky-dory happiness all the time here, which is why I feel like we are going in a different sort of like similar but different direction. Instead of doing missions for Sid, maybe we're on the run from bounty hunters, or we're just on the run in general. Maybe they just hit up a planet even, or, you know, a few different planets throughout the next few episodes and just help some locals there. Maybe we run into some old faces from the Clone Wars. There's a lot of different options they can go down, and with the rest of the story and where I think they could be going, I don't totally know. You know, we obviously have all those hints with Boba maybe appearing, or they're just fun little, you know, because this is a clone-centric show, we're going to be dealing with that. But I think it's too much to deny that Boba isn't going to play a major role in this, since he's the Alpha and Omega is the Omega. Bounty Hunter stuff, Empire stuff, obviously I think we're going to be getting a big confrontation again with Cad Bane. I don't think he's gone. I think Fennec will show up at least one more time. And then the Empire and Crosshair, that's definitely our big bad, and we're definitely going to have to be dealing with that. It would be nice to see Tarkin again, and I could very well see Tarkin coming back at the end of this. But also, we set up some other Imperial officers that felt like they were going to play a bigger role as the bad guys throughout this series, and they really haven't played much of a role past what, like episode 3? Definitely not getting my hopes up for Palpy or anything like that, but who knows? We could see a little Vader action at the end of this. Not totally getting my hopes up for that. Maybe we're following the Rebels format. We'll wait till season 2 finale to get some, you know, some big sort of Vader-y things or something. He was also in the premiere of season 2 as well, so, or I believe, right? The Siege of Lothal. Don't matter. I don't even really need to see Vader in this show, to be completely honest with you. Give me a little more Tarkin, and then just give me a little bit of Palps, and I'm a happy boy. But nothing from this episode that I can really decipher where we're headed now, or like what we're going to be doing going on here. This was a little treading water, and I don't want to say filler, because again, they put enough little things in here that move it forward. The debt is now paid, and we can move on from Sid. Sid has also grown more of a relationship to Omega, which is a good thing, because she will hopefully be providing the batch with information if they need it without totally having to work for it. A fair trade. Help me out a little bit. We'll come back when things die down and do some more work for you, and when they, you know, need some more credits. Other than that, what did we get from this episode? Not a whole lot. And that, again, that's not a bad thing. That's absolutely not a bad thing. That's a totally okay thing. We don't need huge things every week. But as far as canon stuff and as far as where the story's going, yeah, we did just kind of tread water this week. Not knocking it, just the way it is. I'm going to go back and re-watch this bad boy, see if there's anything that I missed in here, because I am absolutely sure that there is. I need to go back to the Clone Wars and watch some of that Raxus arc stuff. So if you know a whole lot more about Raxus and who that head honcho was, point me in the right direction, guys. You know, we're doing our timeline binge and we're watching through everything, but we definitely haven't gotten to season 3 yet in the Clone Wars. I've watched it before, but not everything sticks. And I know all of you who've watched Clone Wars are absolutely the same way, where there is a lot of arcs, there's a lot of story. Not everything is going to be stuck way deep in the brain there. There's a lot of facts to know when you're when you're a Star Wars fan. Star Wars trivia is hard, my friends. When you go full canon, whew, that's difficult. But leave it in the comments below if you know more about Raxus, if you spotted any other Easter eggs and different things within this episode. Let me know so I can go check them out before next week when we watch episode 11 of The Bad Batch. And hopefully there's some ties from this episode into 11, and all that Raxus stuff and everything that we just saw will still be applicable. If not, though, it's always good to have a full understanding of the history. We collect canon here at the Canon Collector. So drop that comment, and if you like this video, guys, make sure to click that like button. It absolutely helps out not just this video, but the channel as a whole. If you also want to help out the channel and you want to see more of our content, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And you can also find us on TikTok and on Instagram at the Canon Collector. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me here on Bad Batch Day, watching some Bad Batch, talking about the possibilities. It's always a great time. I really enjoy it. I've been loving this show, and I hope you have too. Anyway, may the spires keep you, and may the Force be with you. See ya!